I'm Brother Malcolm. Welcome to the Powers of the Mind Hour, the Enlightenism Hour, spiritual freedom, a new way to think and live. I am sharing some insights with you today on Enlightenism. Enlightenism is a new way to think and live. It's a new way to think and live, to overcome powerlessness and victimization, so that you are no longer victimized by what other people have told you about yourself. Change requires effort on your part, a willingness, a desire to make a commitment, a long-term commitment to working in the mind, so that all of the information that you have been told by other people about who you are will disappear into the nothingness that it came from. So that you are no longer living in the world, wherever you are today and whatever you think about yourself. You are not that person unless you believe it. And when you take the time to understand how you acquire the beliefs that you have, then you will have an understanding about who you are. Self-discovery is knowledge. When we enter into a birthright where we have a social and spiritual contract with others in the world, and we place our faith in the accuracy and the certainty of the contract, then our faith is in what other people have told us about ourselves. Freedom of the mind must come at a price to you. It requires you to let go of the person that you're currently aware of being. This is very difficult and challenging for many people. We've been talking about victimization for so long that we have communities of people in the United States where I'm living that believe race and skin color and so forth determines who you are. People think that this is who you are. So then we begin to think that we are in a community of people that are victims, and that there's another community or communities of people that control us, that control our minds. And we believe this. So we go to the universities and schools and so forth throughout the United States, and we learn information that basically affirms our beliefs. Now we believe it. We believe we live in a system that is totally unfair. We can go back and deal with all of the great scholars that have written wonderful things to promote what happened in the past. So we can learn about Frederick Douglass, we can learn about Marcus Garvey, and we can learn about Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and others. And we can learn about current politics, Barack Obama and all of the others. We can learn all of this, but what have we learned? See, the common thing that we have learned is that we, the people that decided to change and look like us, was fighting for power, for inclusion, for the information that they thought had been denied us. In other words, we wanted to learn how to read. Something that simple. Someone denies you the ability to read, so you want to know how to read. Then over time you believe that the power is outside of you. Spirituality becomes a religion that we are required to have faith in. And if we don't have faith, we're blasted by all of the people in the community that we're all headed to hell. So we fall in line because we believe in hell and we believe in heaven, even though we've never talked to anybody that we know that's ever been to heaven or hell, that we know. No friends, nothing. So these beliefs then become our foundational beliefs about what we think about ourselves. And when you start thinking about yourself, you believe what other people have told you, that in order to get free, you need to pray a lot. You need to have faith in what other people have told you. You need to read the scriptures a lot. You need to do a lot of things that other people said they use in order to get through the pain. They use these things in order to get through the pain. So then we want to build up on what they use, improve it in the sense of carrying on the same mindset about freedom. My vision of freedom is diametrically different than those in the past. And so are the younger people that are living here today. They are unaware of what actually happened in the past. They don't know anything about Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X, except what they heard from other people, and they can Google and get on Instagram and YouTube and see videos. There's a video of your life that's being shot today. You're filming your life today. How does it look to you? What changes would you make in your life that would be different than what others in the past told you about? How does freedom look to you? And is it possible? See, is it possible to transform Crenshaw, for example, in Los Angeles, to look like Sunset or something, or Wilshire, or some other place? Is it possible? See, has any change really happened in Los Angeles, Oakland, San Francisco? Has any change really happened in Philadelphia, New York? Has it really happened? Any change? I was speaking a few years ago at the Schoenberg in Harlem, doing a presentation on empowerment. And he had community people that came to the presentation. And I started talking about empowerment, the 4 steps of empowerment, to create a new vision of yourself, be able to embody that vision that you imaginated in the present moment, and then accept the power you have to create the vision, and then do the work, take the action to express the invisible vision into the visible world. And so some of the people that lived in New York was talking about Harlem and who really controlled Harlem, and how Harlem, all of the buildings and properties were owned by people that lived outside of Harlem. And if for those of you who are familiar with New York and Harlem, you'll know that Harlem and Manhattan are connected. And unless you live there, you don't know where the line splits. And you go from Harlem to Manhattan. And when they asked the question, what can we do? And I said to them, you have to come together as individuals with a vision of how you would like to see Harlem look. And if you desire to have ownership of the properties in Harlem, then how can you express your vision? What do you need? And what would it look like after you had ownership of the properties? And so the brother there said, well, that's something for us to think about. I said, yes, because if you want independence from the things that you believe is causing you the pain, then you must do the work to free yourself of the pain that's causing you to think this way. So that you can, ownership does not mean the buildings themselves, it means the mindset, the vision of how those buildings are going to empower the people that are living in Harlem. And you create a new way. And the world has not seen it before. See, the world has not seen a new person. They all know the same people. We all want the same things. People get into politics and so forth, and they become what? Eunuchs. They do whatever somebody tells them to do because there is not a voice, an independent voice that's expressing what they feel. Too afraid The vision has been lost in political suicide. It's what I call it. It's suicidal. Killing yourself. Killing yourself in order to be included in what you believe is power. Change what you think of yourself, you change your community. Have a different conversation with yourself and others without talking about the past and without talking about you are a victim and that we are victimized and that we must struggle all of our lives. We do not have to struggle to connect to the greater power of God that is within us. There is no struggle. Struggle is something from the past. That is a vision that came from the past. And you see what is happening today. You see it in the courtrooms. You see it in the corporate buildings. You see it in politics. What you are seeing today, folks, is the abandonment of freedom, of a powerful mind has been abandoned by others. And so when we let go of the past, we become free in the present. A part of you must die in consciousness for the other part of you to live. I haven't been to Harlem in a while, but I would imagine, based upon what I am seeing in New York on the television, that the people that knew what was happening in Harlem about control of Harlem have now become publicly silent. I'm not talking about in the community. The microphones have been shut off, so we cannot hear what they're thinking. We cannot hear about the pain in their lives. We cannot hear them talk about another way to think and live, because the people that represent them don't represent them. They represent politics. They represent their devotion to a party. The party is more influential in their decisions than the people. The people must rise up in Harlem, in Los Angeles, Chicago. The people must be brave enough and determined enough to change how they think and live. And that requires some pain, because people are going to attack you because you're not acting as a victim. As long as you're acting as a victim, then you're okay. It's just how much of a victim you can be. How much can you sell out yourself to be included in a political party? How much can you sell out of yourself, your own fundamental religious, spiritual beliefs, in order not to be ostracized or criticized by others? Where is your allegiance to God, the God in you? Where is it? You can say all of these platitudes about what somebody told you, but it's how you're acting. You don't act like God. You're not acting like Jesus. And then you have these pseudo people talking about, what would Jesus do now? Jesus wouldn't be in politics. So he wouldn't have to answer that question. He would be free of mind. Jesus wouldn't think of himself as a victim. He would know that he was free and he had a power in him that was greater than victimization. So they have to stop asking that question. Jesus wouldn't be in politics. And he surely wouldn't be a lawyer or something. He would be free. And that's what I'm encouraging all of you to think about. Freedom. Freedom of your mind. Free yourself from your dependency on this toxic past where you have no power, no freedom, and no vision of yourself. Create a new vision of yourself and others. Free the mind and talk about freedom every day. And understand politics is not freedom. And religion, organized religion, is not freedom. Create a new way to think about religion. I'm not asking anyone to change their beliefs about Christianity, Islam, or anything. What I am saying, understand you and your relationship with the power. What power do you have in you to keep you from thinking that you must struggle all of your life? You don't have to struggle. I am greater than the I that I created. The greater power is within me and you. Have a great day.